My name is Chris, and I'm a Master Life Cycle Celebrant. On behalf of Julia and Michael, I thank you all for being here today. Our ceremony is about to begin, so I ask you all to silence your cell phones so that we can all be fully present for this very important moment. Now, while we ask for silence from devices that beep, buzz, and ring, we don't ask for silence from all of you. Instead, we encourage you to laugh, cheer, and clap as you are moved to do so on this very joyous occasion. And be ready, because I'll be asking for a word or two from you during the ceremony. Now, today's beautiful readings are going to be in Russian. You'll find English translations in your programs. And please hold on to those pieces of bread that you found on your seats, and I'll tell you what to do with those later. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. It is such a pleasure to have you all gathered here today to celebrate the love shared by Julia and Michael, and to surround them with your love as they enter into marriage. Look around. Each of you is very special to Michael and Julia. You are those closest to them and their most cherished friends and family. Julia and Michael are thrilled to share this joyous event with all of you. They invite you all to take just a moment to turn around to the people around you and say hello and how you know Michael and Julia. This way we may witness this ceremony as friends. For as Julia and Michael join their lives today, so too are we all joined through them as one community. Thank you. Before taking such an important step forward, it is wise to look back and remember where you came from. Michael and Julia have been blessed with amazing and wonderful families, and they appreciate how special that is. They learned from the loving examples of their parents and grandparents that home isn't just a place. Home is wherever you're surrounded by those who love you. Julia and Michael learned from your example how to face the challenges of life and the value of family sticking together. These are lessons that will help them build a strong marriage. As we honor Julia and Michael's families, let us also take a moment to welcome into our happy company the memory of those who have passed. We remember Julia's great-grandmother, Baba Yulia, who inspired Julia with her fearlessness, kindness, and generosity. She loved her family fiercely, took care of everyone, and was the glue that held everyone together. We also remember Julia's grandfather, Deda Nyoma, whose gentleness and patience touched Julia's heart and mind. She learned so much from him. Baba Yulia and Deda Nyoma are deeply missed, fondly remembered, and no doubt smiling down on this gathering today. Julia and Michael will carry on the example of their love. Cupid brought Michael and Julia together. Well, okay, Cupid, that is. Julia had been on the site for a couple of months when she saw a message from Michael. Michael was unique. Michael had been blown away by Julia's profile. She seemed so genuine and funny, cultured and interesting. He asked Julia what part of Russia she was from, and they found they had something very special in common. So he asked her out right away. Michael was thrilled and pleasantly surprised when Julia said yes. They met a few days later in a Pittsburgh coffee shop called Jitter's Cafe. Michael was 3 minutes late. And for Julia, those 3 minutes lasted an eternity. But when he walked in the door and apologized, he turned out to be worth the wait. Julia says that Michael was your typical, proper Russian boy. The kind Russian grandmothers and grandfathers love. Clean cut, brainy, earnest, and very, very serious. Michael found Julia to be everything she seemed to be online. Beautiful, soft, and warm, but also a little cautious. Michael made it a point to be as open and lighthearted as possible, and it didn't take long for Julia to feel his genuine warmth and open up. Julia and Michael, you talked for hours and found you were both born in the same city in Russia, so 1.5 years apart. You realized that you were probably born in the same hospital, and it was even possible that your families knew each other. As the hours passed, Michael, you found that you were never at a loss for conversation. You two talked about Michael's life in Baltimore and Julia's life in New York, Michael's medical and graduate school, and Julia's creative writing program. You talked till the coffee shop closed, and Michael, you walked Julia back to her dorm. Julia, you two laughed the whole way until Michael wished you a good night. Your earlier nervousness gone, Michael, you walked home relaxed. And Julia, that night, as you fell asleep, you found yourself thinking, this is the man I am going to marry and spend the rest of my life with. The seeds of love were sown that night. We invite Michael's mother, Irene, to read to us the poem Love, which speaks to us of the gift that is new love.
Я прочитаю стихотворение Бориса Воронина. Это не очень известный поэт, но это наш очень близкий родственник. Это моей мамы Казан. Он живет в Москве и пишет стихи. По профессии он не поэт, но любит писать. стихотворение такое. Называется «Любовь». Вновь улыбаясь, по земле идет, объятия распахнув всем людям, любовь бессмертная, которая несет спасение тем, кто бескорыстно любит. Любовь. Любовь – подарок или судьба? Ты сердце наполняешь звездным эхом. Кто не взлетал, не плакал от тебя, нельзя считать, что прожил жизнь с успехом. С любовью я родился и умру, но я хочу, чтобы от нас осталась живая звездочка, которая к утру любовью нашей в небе загоралась.
Thank you, Irene. Michael and Julia's courtship had an adventurous beginning. Trying snails for the first time at a tapas bar and skating under a purple sky. They laughed, encouraged each other, and basked in each other's gaze. Ever the gentleman, Michael waited until the second date to kiss Julia on the cheek. Julia looked at him and said, "That's it?" Michael accepted the challenge and gave Julia a real kiss, and he's never hesitated again to kiss her. By their third date, they were a couple. Life had taken on a new brightness. At work, a wise friend noted that Michael was always smiling and cheerful, and she had a good hunch why. Michael realized that thoughts of Julia were never far from his mind, and with the memory of her came that smile. It was a relief to know he'd finally found love, and he knew that Julia was the one. They said, "I love you," for the first time in a bagel shop. They were waiting in line to order. Julia felt butterflies in her stomach as she watched Michael trying to decide what kind of bagel he wanted. The words came whooshing out of her mouth, "I think I love you." And it took only a moment for Michael to realize what had just happened. And he said, "I think I love you too." Michael and Julia, from that moment on, you two shared an unspoken commitment. Michael, Julia says that she felt that you were svoj, one of the family. She felt it when you cooked together, when you made each other laugh, and when you comforted each other after a long day. Julia, Michael was determined to put your blossoming life together above all else, and he was excited about it. There was something he wanted to ask you, but he knew how much you wanted to move back to New York, and he knew that some things, namely his residency placement, were not completely in his control. So while he waited, he walked beside you in love and hope. To share with us a little bit of what you two felt for each other during this time, Michael's grandmother Maria will now read to us Me and You by Valentin Gap.
Это касается двух любящих людей. Я и ты настолько вдвоем. О, какой самообман! С нами стены, прах, обои, ночь, шампанское, диван. С нами тишина в квартире. И за окнами капель. С нами все, что в этом мире опустилось на постель. Мы лишь точки мироздания, чья-то тонкая резьба. Наш рассвет и увядание называется судьба. Мы в лицо друг другу дышим, бьют часы в полночный час, а над нами тот, кто свыше, все давно решил за нас.
Thank you, Maria. Julia and Michael, if ever there was a couple who the fates wanted to bring together, it's the two of you. Born in the same city on the other side of the world, and brought together many, many years later, and many cities later in Pittsburgh by Cupid, someone up there was looking out for you. And when Michael was assigned to a hospital, not only in New York, but in Julia's home neighborhood of Washington Heights, all of your stars were finally in alignment. You'd already talked about getting married. You'd chosen for your engagement ring Julia's grandmother's ring, an antique from 1840s Russia, full of family love and history. But Julia didn't know when the proposal was going to take place. And to be quite honest, it was starting to stress her out. What Julia didn't know was that Michael was looking for the perfect moment. There were many times it almost happened, but weren't quite right. For example, Michael almost proposed one time in the coffee shop where they first met, but it was too busy, and so he kept the ring in his pocket. Will you marry me? Perhaps no other question carries such weight or holds so much in the balance. We invite Michael's grandfather, Boris, to share with us William Shakespeare's Sonnet 91, which reflects just a little of what Michael felt as he pondered when to speak those 4 weighty words to Julia.
Я вам прочту, вы все знаете, что Шекспир написал около 100 сонетов. Один из них, мне показалось, очень подходит к сегодняшней ситуации. То, что я вам прочту, это мысли Шекспира, сказанные моим голосом, ну, как бы от лица Миши. Кто хвалится родством своим сознатью, кто силой, кто блестящим голуном, кто кошельком, кто пряжками на платье, кто соколом, собакой, скакуном. Есть у людей различные пристрастия, но каждому милее всего одно. А у меня особенное счастье. В нем остальное все заключено. Твоя любовь, мой друг, дороже клада, почетнее короны королей, а наша встреча — вот моя награда. Ничего на свете нет ценней. Пусть жизнь труда, пусть жизнь трудна, пусть вдаль летят года. Моя судьба — любить тебя всегда.
Thank you, Boris. Julia and Michael's perfect moment finally came in the wonderful Phipps Botanical Garden and Conservatory. They had been wandering the garden for a while, and it was getting close to closing time. Julia noticed that Michael kept looking over his shoulder, and she wondered, could this be the day? Finally, they found themselves almost alone, with only one other couple in the orchid room. They'd been through this room twice before, but Michael said he wanted to take one last look before they went home. As the other couple finally headed out the exit, the room fell quiet. There, amidst the beautiful orchids, Michael got down on one knee. He began to ask, but before he could finish the question, Julia was kneeling with him. She threw her arms around him, and he had his answer, which brings us to today. Now, this is the part of the wedding where the couple is usually told that marriage should not be entered into lightly. But Julia and Michael know this already. Michael and Julia, you've talked about marriage and what it means to you. You know it is a commitment that is practical, traditional, and emotional. You know marriage is joyful, serious, and hopeful. It is a commitment of mutual support and sacrifice. It is both work and pleasure, and it makes the world a better place. The vows you are about to make will be your guide through your journey together, and a touchstone you can return to any time you want to reconnect to this moment, to each other, and to the intentions that you set forth together today.
My dear, wonderful Julia, I promise to be your lifelong friend and companion. I will celebrate with you all your triumphs and achievements. Together we will laugh and enjoy everything life has to offer. I will protect you and stand by